And for me, it was a dream come true. Ever since I was a kid in high school watching comedians on Johnny Carson, all I ever wanted to do in life was be a stand-up comic, tell jokes on late-night TV. Conan gave me my chance. The show went great. They took my segment, they put it on YouTube, and I was really proud of what I had accomplished. Until I started reading YouTube comments. I did not realize that there are people that write awful things about YouTube videos as a hobby. It's just what they do for fun. They're like, I got 15 minutes to kill. Let me go shit on someone's dreams. I didn't know that. I wasn't warned. They wrote things like, this guy sucks. I didn't laugh once. One guy, all he wrote was, boo, bitch. That guy only used 2 words and somehow managed to insult me twice. That is masterful use of the English language. I read all the comments though. It ruined 3.5 days of my life. Yeah, I couldn't get over it. What finally sort of pulled me out of my depression though is I realized some of these morons that write these awful things, their YouTube screen name is either their exact name or something very easy to figure out. Like one dummy. His YouTube screen name was J. DeBaron Violin. All right, I'm going to take a wild guess. I bet the J is his first initial. I bet DeBaron is his last name. And I bet playing the violin is something he likes to do. Let me just crank up the Google machine and take a look-see. Well, what do you know? His name is Jonathan DeBaron. He is indeed a violin player. And he has posted some of his own videos on YouTube. Oh, Jonathan. Now here's what Jonathan knows about me. I'm a comedian. Here's what he does not know. I'm shallow, petty, vindictive. And because I don't have to spend 6 hours a day practicing the violin, I got a lot of time on my hands. I created 34 separate YouTube accounts just to crush his little violin playing fantasy, and man did it feel good. In fact, it felt so good, I recommend all you go home tonight, find his YouTube page, and give it a whirl. Just in case you were wondering, no, I did not change his name to protect his identity. DeBaron is spelled D-E-B-A-R-O-N. You guys have been a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Tony Dale, TonyDale.com, I think, I don't know. Contrary to what you might believe, that wasn't Mark Norman after a 20-year time-traveling bender. He does look very much like a haggard Mark Norman. You want to keep this thing moving along, folks? We got a few more comics here. This has been so fun. You've been so great. How's the food? Decent. This next comic, she's one of my favorites, young rising star on the scene. She's performed all over the city. Please welcome Miss Betsy Carroll. Betsy Carroll, oh, you know her.
Hey guys. Oh, hey. So, I recently went through a breakup. It was a pretty tough one, actually. I actually had to have the guy's number blocked. He was continuing to call me even though we were no longer together. I wouldn't say he was stalking me, but I had to have him blocked, you know, as a precaution. Just in case he ever decides to stop calling me. I don't want to know. I just want to think he kept calling me forever and ever and ever. I mean, I'm not going to miss his little post-breakup check-in calls anyway. He'd be like, hey Betsy, just want to make sure you're taking care of yourself, you know, giving your state when we last saw each other. It's so transparent that it's just an excuse to call me because he doesn't need to ask if I'm taking care of myself because he knows that I always put myself first no matter what. He actually cited that in the breakup, so I know he knows that. But yeah, breakups are hard. I just got retested for ADHD. And in the words of my future cougar self, I still got it. I thought it was kind of strange though. During my session, my doctor asked me to rate my love life on a scale of Kardashians. Kris Jenner being the worst ever and Northwest being perfection. You know, it seemed a little odd, but he's my doctor. I trust him, so I answered. I said, well, my love life is a total mess, so I'm tempted to say Lamar Odom, but it's also really entertaining, so I'll give it a Scott Disick. And he was like, Betsy, that doesn't answer the question. The question was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult is it for you to focus during one-on-one conversations? And I was like, Doc, I've been coming here for years, and you don't know the answer to that? Do you want me to test you? I don't know what he said because I stopped listening, but I could tell he was a little bit annoyed with me. I know I'm still his favorite patient though, because during our sessions, he's always saying, fascinating. Under his breath, he's like, fascinating. Yeah, so, you know, what was I talking about? Oh, my love life. Yeah, the ladies here know it can be kind of hard to meet quality guys of our age, and I know I've spent my whole life just trying to find a guy who is spontaneous and fun, but still responsible. And then the other day, I was walking down the street, and it happened. I found him. I was just strolling down 7th Avenue, and I slipped on a used condom on the sidewalk. And I was like, oh my God, this is the guy. Finally, a guy who is spontaneous enough to have sex in the street, but still responsible enough to practice safe sex always, even when he's in a rush. You know, all my exes just wanted to do it in a bed with no condom, so I could tell this guy was really special. I was like, I need to meet this guy. I thought I should probably take it with me and, you know, make my own Cinderella story come true. Like, you know, like use it as a little glass slipper, like, who does it fit? Who does it fit? Go around the city. And just as I was putting it in my purse, a little voice in my head was like, Betsy, this is crazy. You think you're gonna take a used condom off the street and try and hunt down some guy who is clearly a litter bug? Like, I know no one's perfect, but that's a deal breaker. This is my city. What we've been through, you wanna be disgusting? That's what Jersey's for, it's very close. Yeah, so, enough about my love life. So I work at a tech startup, and I actually have some startup ideas I'd like to run by you guys. It's a packed crowd, but I don't see any of the venture capitalists I invited, but maybe some of you guys will reach out to me on LinkedIn if you're interested in investing. So my first idea is called Ubets. It's a lot like something you're probably familiar with, Uber, except instead of you telling the app where you want to get picked up and where you want to go, you just get the option of meeting me wherever I am and sharing a cab with me to wherever I need to go. And then you can pay 50% of the cab fare or more. It's up to you. Except, obviously, during peak hours of Betsy activity, that's a little more expensive. You know, peak hours fall, you know, very frequently and without any regular pattern. They say, like, a good startup is the solution to a problem. And, you know, I love taking cabs everywhere, but it's really expensive and I can't afford to keep doing it. So I thought this was a really good idea for me. Solves that problem for me. So my next startup idea, it's called Betscoin. And it's kind of similar to this amazing new thing everyone's talking about, Bitcoin. So I just have to find out what Bitcoin is and what they do. And then I'll have the business model for Bitcoin. Okay, so I have one more idea for you guys. So you've probably heard of Etsy, and I'm sure you've heard of eBay, but have you ever heard of Etsy Bay? That just so happens to be Pig Latin for Betsy, which is my name. I don't really know what kind of startup it could be yet, but I feel like there's something there. It can't be a coincidence, you know. I bought the domain name just in case. Yeah, so I've been working at the same tech startup for quite some time now. I started in the business side of things, and I really wanted to get into engineering and tech, and I worked really hard, and as of 3 weeks ago, I'm officially a software engineer at my company. Thanks, guys. Is anyone here interested in tech and that kind of thing? Yeah. Good for you. Personally, not for me. It's kind of just something I started doing to sound more interesting at girls' night. Girls' night is this thing where I get together with a bunch of guys that I met on Craigslist, and we watch the HBO hit Girls. I also call it Bachelorette by surprise because they don't know when they come over that there's a bunch of other dudes there. They love it. Surprisingly, it goes better than Bachelor by surprise, which is when you and a few of your friends match with the same guy on Tinder and you all show up and are like, who do you pick? They hate that. You know, I gotta do what I gotta do to get out there. I'm single again. I went on a first date with this one guy, and then I didn't hear from him. And you know, I wanted to reach out, but I'm really not used to texting guys first, so I stressed about it for a while, like what do I say? And then finally I just sent him a casual text that said, hey, I finally got that stain out of my dress. Who knew velvet could harden like that? And he didn't answer, so I sent him a follow-up that said, whoops, wrong text. Anyways, what are you up to? And then I thought I met a guy I had a real connection with, but you know, then he dumped me because I'm not Jewish, and apparently that's a deal breaker for him. And then he had the nerve to try to imply that it was my own fault for not being more clear when I first messaged him on JDate. So now I'm just super honest in my JDate profile. My username is Shixappeal. And my About Me says, willing to convert. In the meantime, let's get together and piss off your mom. All right, thanks guys so much. You've been great.
Betsy Carroll, invest in Betsy. Her parents are in the crowd tonight, and she still tells those jokes. That's bravery. Watching her step, all of a sudden I'm a legs man. I don't know. Something happened there. Weird. Love the condom jokes that she tells. You guys ever do this? Ever mistake a condom for a moist towelette? You know, you're running out of the house, you're in a hurry, you grab something off the desk. Couldn't have sex that night. But we did go for buffalo wings, and they were delicious. Last time I bought condoms, the clerk asked me if I wanted a bag. I said, no, I'll wear them out. It was funny to me at the time. You can take that one home and try it. Let's bring our next guest up here. This fantastic comic is a writer for